Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Sam McNeill. He's with the University of Kentucky, Extension Biosystems and Ag Engineering.
That's right.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well, and I'm glad you're here today because we're going to talk a little bit about monitoring the bin and making sure that the grain inside is of utmost quality.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of steps to be able to do that.
Absolutely. So the folks, my colleagues across the country, we refer to ourselves as post-harvest engineers nowadays, as opposed to just, it's a little more specific to the work we do. So, but yeah, I've worked in this area since I started in 1979 at Princeton, so it's been a while. But we've got a lot of new tools available now that we did not have back in those days. In those days, it was all manual. You climb in the bin, you grab a probe. Sometimes you have safety equipment, other times not, but certainly on the farm, it's highly suggested. You really need to have that equipment, a dust protection, climbing harness, and those kinds of things when you're climbing on a bin. Obviously, you always lock out and tag out the unloading equipment to do it safely. And there's plenty of resources available to guide folks on the steps necessary for a safe inspection for a grain, because you're in a confined space. Across the industry, there's safeguards in place to protect workers that are working in those environments. But on the farm, you're not bound by those, but certainly you can look at those as guidelines. It's a good idea to do that, to get in mind, and not just the farm owner, but all the workers. I know some farms have their staff meetings more or less on a weekly basis or regular basis anyway, especially harvest time. When it's a very busy time, things are happening very quickly. You want to know what's going on the farm. But if you have grain on the bin, in the bin, we obviously know now that we're looking at a big crop coming in, not just in Kentucky, but across the country. Corn is a little down because the acres are down. Soybeans picked up that 220,000 acres or so this year in Kentucky, but we're looking at big crops, yields comparable to what they were last year. At least that's the pre-harvest prediction from the Kentucky Ag Statistics. It just raises, some questions about where's this, what's going to happen with the crop coming in. And I know a lot of farmers still have grain in the bin.
That's like one of the main things that they're going to have to look at. Is what's the quality of that grain
exactly
in the bin right now?
Exactly, and it's going to be a tough decision because you may have to cut your losses. If you don't have room, most farmers would not have room to store both last year and this year's crop. And last year's crop obviously has a year of storage life used up in it. And that's probably, you don't want to hold on to that unless it's really good condition. You want to check that before you were to make that decision. But, and there's some tools, we'll talk about that maybe in another show, but you want to be sure that the crop is in good condition if you want to carry it forward. And if it's not, just cut your losses, I would suggest, and sell it and go with the new crop. Protect it for sure. If you want to hold on to it, moving it is a good way to break up any insect populations that may have built up in the corners of the bin, and that disruption will halt their growth for a while, and then you'll have an opportunity to cool the grain, and that will control their growth as well. So moving it is an excellent idea to check the condition of the crop as well as just disrupt and break up any clumps that may have formed and help store it better.
Because it's usually not a good idea to put new grain in with old.
Absolutely not. Depending on the volume, look accordingly and hold the old crop separately if at all possible.
And Sam, now's a good time to be thinking about all these things and making these decisions. But do they have more information? Do we have more information about post-harvest decisions and grain bin maintenance?
Yes, there's a lot of resources available, not just on my website. If you Google my name on the College of Ag website, you'll find my resources for corn, soybean, wheat, canola. I've got a publication for canola, storing and handling and drying those crops. Grain sorghum, most anything that's grown in Kentucky.
All right. Well, certainly appreciate the information. And if you have questions, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching and have a great day.